Now we're recording.
And then when the screen goes black, you can just tap it and you can see it again. On the.
I know that.
I know.
I know that.
For me, I just like to see everything I'm filming.
This guy acts like I've never used a GoPro before. Hi, everybody. Chris Forsberg here. Now that I understand how GoPros work, thanks to Richard. It's my first time. No, we have a really cool project going on here. It's for those of you that have not seen, we made an announcement earlier this year that we are going to be teaming up with Aiden Copham, who also works with BIR, Brainerd International Raceway. His mother owns the track, he works at the track. It's a really, really awesome family network, and they have an amazing facility. I went out and visited the track. We're talking about all these great things and things that we want to do at the track, you know, potential events coming up, and just having a really good connection with that family and that track is going to be awesome for, I mean, not just myself. What I mean is the drifting community. We're really looking to ramp up the drifting abilities of that track. More to come on that. I don't want to speak out of turn, but we do have some really exciting things coming up for Brainerd International Raceway. But back to what is bringing us together here in the shop is the all-new Z that we are building for Aiden to compete in ProSpec for 2026. So the current status of the car is it's all the way stripped down. It has been caged. We utilize the cage kit setup, same one we use in all of our cars. We got the bulkhead in. We have a lot of different pieces on it, and we are just now starting to hang the suspension and get the engine mounted into the chassis. We're making very, very good progress. We're looking to have this thing done by late February, mid-late February, so that we can be testing by March before our season starts in April. But so far, here's where the car is currently sitting. So we have our BC XR 3-way coilovers hung on here, and we are working with Wisefab for the entire suspension, front and back. And so this is the same exact setup that we run on my Form of Drift chassis. So the same arms, the same coilovers, and we're going through and we're starting to make all the little bits to bring the car to that next level, such as we have the Wisefab steering package on here, so it moves the steering rack up and forward, and we actually have not utilized this yet on our chassis. You know, our steering rack location was already done on my chassis, and the engine was sitting right down on top of it. And so now the Wisefab setup actually moves the rack up to help with the bump steer. And so we're making new engine mounts so that this will actually clearance it. And so we're going to be doing the same modification to my car once we get it sorted out on this one. So my chassis is over at King's Auto. Shout out to King's. They're double checking that everything is looking good and straight on that vehicle. And then when we bring it back, we're going to fit the same Wisefab steering rack relocation kit onto mine. And we're gonna have to raise the engine up about an inch, inch and a half. But it's gonna help with the overall steering, which is cool. It's just gonna have to make us redo some of our plumbing. So, you know, that's why we didn't do it last year. We just didn't have the timing for it when we started running the Wisefab on the competition car. Up front, very simple, very straightforward. We put a little notch in this secondary brace. We could cut the whole thing out, but we do like the support that it gives, especially for this region. In the past, on some of my V8 chassis, like if we have like a front end collision, we hit the front wheel into another car, or, you know, do a little into the wall, we've actually bent this before, and we've like crinkled the firewall because this whole shock tower will want to move in. So we've learned to now just take a little bit of section out right here, leave this all triangulated in. We're going to cap this back off, and that lets you sit the engine further back, but without losing all of this support. You can see how much this spreads the load out on this frame rail from just dead ending into the firewall. So that definitely helps because we had a couple bumps over the years in our new chassis, and we did not see that deflection that we saw in years past, which is really, really good. And over here, obviously, since it's a ProSpec car, yet again, using the factory steering column and pedal assembly. You know, it's gotta stay within the rules, gotta have those stock components. Yet again, we got Ilaria Tech making the dual master setup for those stock pedals, which is awesome. Same system that we just retrofitted onto the race truck. But yeah, this was built specifically for, I don't wanna say specifically for ProSpec cars, but yeah, it's an awesome piece that Ilaria Tech makes for those people that want more adjustability and not going with a full pedal box. And so it just fits perfectly into the category for Form of Drift ProSpec cars. And so coming into the back of the car, we have our BC Racing coilovers here as well. We got the whole Wisefab system hung in. Also our Winters quick change differentials. So we plug this one in. This is our spare subframe that we already had from the race trailer. So we pulled it out. It was already fully dressed with everything. And we slung it up in here just so we can get a visual on getting the center line and everything to mount the engine. So subframe's in, everything's kind of hung up. We have the components that will go into the car for good over here on display, all brand new stuff, so that this thing is ready to go. But it's all going to be the same components between the two cars, which is going to be really great. So we'll be sharing the same suspension arms, hubs, things like that. So the benefit of having a multi-car team, you can start to share the spares. You know, the transmission's the same, the quick change is the same, the subframes are the same. So you can share not only data, but spares. It keeps the cost down for everyone all around, especially for a team coming in and then not having to buy all those extra spares that you might not need, but you need just in case. So fuel safe fuel cell, it's pushed over and dropped into the floor as low as it'll go. It's very, very close to the drive shaft, but it just clears, and so that we get that weight exactly where we want it. We used to run our dry sump tank back there in the V8 cars. However, it's just a lot of extra plumbing, all those lines. And so what we have been doing recently is we put the dry sump tank up here. It's closer to the engine, the lines are shorter, and we still are able to offset the weight of the driver with the dry sump tank over here and the fuel cell in place of where we used to put the dry sump tank. Optimum battery, same thing, down the right side. So you can see the pattern here. All this extra weight, all the extra accessories down the right side of the car, offsetting the driver to make sure that we get as close to a 50-50 cross right out of the gate as we can. And yeah, like we said, just a nice collage of factory components right here. Nothing to see there, all simple stuff. But yeah, moving on, we got the carbon fiber roof already installed. So that's looking really good. We got the firewall in place. A lot of this is moving right along really well. We have the components here for the rear radiator setup that we'll be running. We're waiting for the rad to show up from PWR. That is being built right now. The rear crash structure is welded into place. So we're getting that rear piece right now from Cage Kits as well. They produce all of those rear crash kit pieces for us. So definitely making some good progress on the vehicle. It looks really good. This thing is basically already a roller, which is sick. And we are plunging in this engine. This is our mock-up motor. So this is an old engine that we windowed a long time ago. This was my very first ever VR38. That it was a stock crank, just pistons and rods. And we were told not to put too much nitrous on it. We go to Dallas. We're like, you know, like top 8 in points, maybe 6 overall or something like that. So it was a double header weekend during 2020. And we go into Dallas. We finished the first day, 2nd place in the finals. We did our Drift Alliance podium, which was awesome. It was me, Vaughn, and Turk on the podium. 3-way Drift Alliance fucking podium. So rad. And then day 2 followed it up with the overall win. So we went 2nd place, 1st place in the weekend on this exact motor. And then we're rolling into Irwindale, final round, feeling all hot to trot. Actually have like a, you know, full-blown shot at the championship all of a sudden. Wasn't expecting that. And we had turned up the nitrous in Dallas. Go double finals. Feeling really good about everything. Roll into Irwindale on that big, heavy, steep bank. 3rd lap, we launched this freaking motor. It was just, we were running probably like 200 shot of nitrous all the way out the top, on top of the boost. And that stock crank said, no me gusta. So we keep it around for mock-up reasons. And as a reminder to never go full nitrous on the stock crank. So we have our CJ Motorsports upper intake manifold on there. So it gives us more accessibility to the spark plugs. It doesn't have that dual throttle body setup. Just one single one right out the front, which is nice and simple for the plumbing. And like I said, also gives more accessibility to the spark plugs. We don't have to pull the intake manifold to change the plugs, which is kind of ridiculous that you have to do that, but it happens. And then also going with the dry sump setup, of course. So the daily dry sump pan. So that one is also one that's been, was the same one that was on that engine. It got damaged with the rod. So we are utilizing it all for mock-up. The boys are checking out the new Wisefab cross member piece and seeing how it's all gonna fit. But looking really good so far.